Okay, so let's start. Transit. Okay, right here we see the select user role dialog for the most convenient in our work. If we always work as translator, we can also just and we just take the last opened. You can also change procedures during startup. You do this in the user preferences here. Action startup, show the startup dialog, or open the last project, for example. So we save here, say OK, I close transit and start again. Okay, now we know we are always working with the user role translator. I can tick here that I don't have to select the user role. And Transit automatically opens the last opened project as I indicated it in the user preferences. I go back and say open the project browser during startup. Close again, and I start again. And here the project browser opens and I can select the project I want to work on. For example, this one. The project browser be organized to our needs. For example, if you want to sort your projects, you just do a right mouse click in the header and then select, for example, customer. Then we have all the way here the customer column. And in addition to this, we can just take the column out and then have all the projects sorted by the customer, like this. And then we can select whatever we need. For example, this one or here, and select by double-clicking the project I want to look at. Please be aware that when you work in the trend as possible of the space you have. File navigation, we let it float out because we want to make use of the screen. We open the language pair. Okay. Of course, you can here change the view. Some like it better when the windows are in parallel view. For some translators, it is helpful to see colors for the segment status, that you get a visual orientation for your segment statuses. You can do this here. For example, you can tick here, please show me a color for the info column according to the current status. So the text itself stays as in a regular file, and only here you have the color showing you, helping you to see what is pre-translated in this case. What you also, the colors, they are defined here in the user preferences. If you don't like this orange-brown color, you just go here to Colors and Fonts. And here we go. There you find them. Background for edited, non-translated, aligned, segments, and so on and so on. Of course, you can define here your own color. You define the color here. And if you have the color in the language pair, you do this here in colors, for example, as we did here. The next is our so-called quick filter. You can define filters here, view, create, or if you want to have a very quick filter, have a very brief overview of whatever, you can use here a double click on this icon. Only repetition segments. You apply the filter, and there you see that we have repetitive segments. It's right there in the status bar in the language pair. And of course, you can also apply this quick filter to the source language. Okay, let's define a filter for internal repetitions. Create. Only repetition segments, and then you can save it. I call it just repetition. Save. And it's the same result, of course. And I switched it off. Filters can be used to more things than just minimizing the amount of segments I see. For example, I can also use a color according to a filter. For example, here, segments, and then I can say according to filter, and I say repetition. And there, this pink, this is my personal definition for the color for repetitions, for filters. They are marked as this. So as soon as you reach them, you will see this is repetition. You can also navigation language pair, which is here. Navigate, select filter for navigation. We just stay with our repetitions, and I say okay. So and if I am all the way at, I can navigate previous or next according to the filter. I can either use here the menu or the keypad. And in this way, I can navigate through my language pair and focus on certain things which are interested for me. Okay. The next point is that you can make spaces visible, that you can select a symbol that spaces are shown for your work. Here in my example, you see this big dot for a space. You activate this here. Special characters. And again, what kind of character is shown for a space in this case? This one is defined here in the user preferences. Special characters. Display spaces as non-breaking space, another symbol. All the others, like this, a line break like this, and a tab like this. That you can, in this case, makes it easier for you to see the spaces or to see line breaks. Okay. For your translation, everybody knows that, okay, let me just, okay. Everybody knows, oops, that we mark a segment as translated by pressing alternate insert. Okay. Like this. And you see, I have defined it for my transit version that the upcoming segment is emptied. I can define several things for our well-known alternate insert shortcut, which is here. I can let transit just put the line there that everything is deleted. Transit can check spaces, check the end punctuation, and in my case, it empties for me the next segment. So let me show you the difference. No. Like this. If I press alternate insert, and if I want to have transit delete for me until the end of segment, like this, for example, I just use this circle line that transit will delete. Or you can here say, okay, also please check end punctuation. And if I go like this, it's different. If I say yes and check, transit will insert one and stop the second one in this case. Another very nice feature, which is sometimes really overseen, is our rapid entry mode. Yeah. For example, when we have here gesund and healthy, in general, you find everything which has to do with terminology here in the ribbon. Okay, this might not be really new for you, but please be aware that you can get the rapid entry mode closer to you, that you don't have to go to the menu terminology. You can add items out of the ribbon to your quick access toolbar. So you have marked these two, and here we go. And I can insert it like this. If I now press alternate, when I am used to work by the keyboard through the ribbon, you get here a number. It's on number 5. And when you press Alt and now number 5, the rapid entry mode will open. In this case, you can access very rapidly certain functionality from the ribbon very close to your work, that you don't have to work through the menu. The next one I consider really helpful is that you can insert comments. Okay, you insert comments in the so-called segment info window. Oh, in this case, it's pinned up here. Probably we want to have it on another spot, for example, like this. And we don't need the fuzzy window at the moment, so we just get rid of it. You see, you can handle all the windows just the way you need it for the moment. For now, I want to show you the comments. I make it a little bit bigger like this. And which is done here. Comments from translator reviewer, that would be us, telling our project manager, for example, or the customer, please check here. And this comment is stored, saved in the target language file, and the customer can then go and have a look at the single comments. You don't have to prepare another list or write it into an email. You can just put your comments in here, and the customer or the project manager can then also filter like this. Create and here. And then, oh, I haven't saved it. And then you will have, where were we? Here. No, where is it? I didn't save it. Okay, but anyway, you have seen it that you can insert a comment to your customer or your project manager. Next step in translation are the markups. If you want to have more information for markups, just choose to have here the type of markup also displayed. If you want to, it is still very discreet here. It's not very prominent, but still gives you more information. Next step in the process of translation might be a review. Everything which has to do with reviewing our work can be found in this tab. And here, when you want to do a spell check, please keep an eye on here that you can do spell checking based on MS Word. And if you have lots of specific terms, because the customer has lots of specific ways of calling things, you can also use existing reference files for spell checking purposes, or even the project dictionary. That Transit can also check if this might be spelled correctly, or this is okay that this word is in the translation because it's found in the dictionary. Next step in reviewing might be the check for spaces. All the options which apply for format check are set here. In this case, you see it is just markups ticked. Codes check or the format check, it will just check markups. For example, I want to also check for leading and trailing blank white spaces and autocorrect them. Or I want to do double spaces, find double spaces and autocorrect it. I can select it and I can save this. And I call it my own QS or QA, better said. Okay. And okay. And if I now run the formatting codes check, it will do only those options which I have set. I don't run it on purpose because I want to show you first something else. Please keep an eye on this option. This is a nice, handy option for getting an overview about the translation. So I just let the check run through it. And here we need the file navigation window. Oh, everything's corrected already. Everything's good here. So let me just do a few mistakes that you can see how it works. And I go and check, yes, still markups are here. Okay, just a second. There is a question. My screen doesn't follow. I understand that you would like that I just say what I'm clicking because your screen does, because your screen doesn't follow in real time. Yes. No problem. I will do this. Okay. Yeah. I go to options, check again if markups is ticked, and I click on OK, and then I update the file navigation. And here I have a wonderful overview of all the markup mistakes. I'm here in the file navigation window. I open the markup part, and here missing markups. And then I can go there where the markup is missing and insert it. Yeah. This is very helpful because you can then choose between what you want to check in a punctual or what you want to have checked automatically, like double spaces or leading and trailing blank. Example. Please be aware of this. You find it in Review, and you click here on Start, down here, and Update Error Disk window. And you can also do a right mouse click and say Ignore errors or Remove errors from list, which might help you to do your quality assurance way easier. Then, sometimes it happens that for whatever reason, there might be a difficulty in transit. What you can do then, I just take this one out and this one. You can make sure that you don't lose anything. If there might be a crash or anything, please let Transit do a backup copy for you every 5 minutes. So if there should be a crash, it will save everything until the last automatic backup copy. The next topic of this webinar is the project exchange. A very handy option is the fact that we can predefine folders. Okay. For example, for unpacking a project. I click on Unpack. And I have defined a folder on my C drive, which is called New Jobs. For example, you receive your PPF files via email, and then you just save all the attachments you have in this folder. And when you click on Unpack, you can just Transit points you right to the folder where all your PPF files are, and then you can select and open. The folders can be defined here in the user preferences. So I click on the Transit icon, click on user preferences, and go to folder selection. Take your time and have a look at all the possibilities where we can prefine a helping us to prevent brown. For example, here, my Unpack project, I said user-defined folder, and here's my folder, new job. Or if I want to have a special folder for all I sent back, I click on this one and say, okay. Transit gives us here a list. And if I want to have a user-defined folder, I just select user-defined, go here, and maybe you just want to have the very same folder, like this. And as soon as it will start there. It really makes sense to have a look here in order to save time.